Up until a week ago, I didn't even know there was a Super NES version of Urban Strike, and when I was told it was horrible, I just had to check it out. Do you ever do that? Do you ever check out something just to see how bad it is? It's the reason I played Alone in the Dark, and it's the reason I read Twilight. Oh shit. I just openly admitted that on the internet. Fuck. Anyway, when I got the game and popped it into my Super NES, I was shocked at just how bad the graphics were. They were so grainy I couldn't make out details, and it physically hurt to look at. It was right there and then I knew I had to make a quick video about it, but when I got the Super NES hooked up to my laptop and turned it on, I was in for a surprise. The game looked okay. I couldn't believe it. I was using all the same cables, but for whatever reason the game looks good on my laptop. So you'll just have to take my word that the graphics were rubbish. I suppose I could still criticise them, but that's nitpicking just a little bit more than I tend to. So let's move on to something I can criticise. First off, the music is awful. Now, maybe you think bad music isn't enough to break a game, but this is the Strike series. It was defined by its awesome music. The Desert Strike theme tune was the single coolest thing I had ever heard up to that point. The Super NES version managed to butcher it without mercy. They've done the same thing here. Now don't tell me that you don't feel a rush of excitement when you hear that music kick in. And now the Super NES version. What is this? They might as well just call the game Lame Strike because that's how it feels. You don't get pumped up, you don't feel like you're about to start an exciting game. When I was a kid, I used to turn on my Mega Drive just to listen to the awesome opening music, but if I owned a Super NES, I would never have bothered. The gameplay in this version is a nightmare. Say what you want about Urban Strike, at least it played really well. Well, except for those on-foot sections, but I think even the developers hated those. Calling the controls unresponsive would be a step too far. They respond, they just take their time about it. The Mega Drive version lets you move fast without losing controls. You can make quick turns and you can dodge incoming attacks. In the Super NES version, something as simple as moving forward is painfully frustrating. The chopper moves so slowly I was actually digging my thumb into the D-pad in the hopes of going faster. Oddly though, the chopper gets a burst of speed when over water, which makes no sense at all. Then again, we are talking about a series in which you don't use fuel when you're over water, so whatever. Turning on the axis takes a painfully long time, so there'll be no flying past the enemies and swinging around to get them in the back. The level I'm showing you has you get into a different chopper and things only get worse from there. This one's movements are so slow, so stiff and so clunky, you'd have more luck trying to fly a brick. Lining up to pick up the passengers and turning to shoot is so frustrating I would never play through an entire game like this. So in a nutshell, if you ever fancy giving Urban Strike a go, get the Mega Drive version. The Super NES version is such a horrible port, it just doesn't do this great series any justice.